So many in the MRI world are familiar with this MRI accident, or at least with the pictures of this MRI accident. This occurred in early part of 2023, and there isn't a lot that has been sort of shared in official channels about this accident. That has changed. So the state where this accident occurred actually their Department of Health did a state investigation, and because the accident was severe enough, it actually involved the CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the folks who pay the bills for Medicare and Medicaid patients. So both the state and CMS engaged in the investigation of this accident, and here's what they said. Now, the actual report is like 85 pages long, but I'm going to read to you just one excerpt from it that kind of describes the accident itself. The MRI technologist stated she opened the door to Zone 3, which was the space before you enter the magnet room, without first screening the nurse who was accompanying this ICU patient, the ICU patient, and a patient care technician or tech aide. She informed the nurse, "We're going in head first," and then went into the control room, which in many MRI facilities is like a separate room where the operator sits, the MR technologist sits. So she goes into the control room to, quote, open the patient chart. She indicated she left the nurse, the patient, and the tech aide in Zone 3. When asked why she did that, she said she couldn't begin the procedure without first opening the chart. The control room is out of the line of sight of the Zone 3, the anteroom area, and she indicated that she could not begin the procedure without opening the chart. When asked if this was a priority, the chart versus patient safety, she indicated that the patient was the priority. Although from the description, it sounds like she couldn't even start the exam without having the chart opened. While she was at the computer, presumably opening the chart, she indicated she heard screaming and ran out to see the nurse pinned against the MRI by the ICU bed. She didn't recall hearing the ferromagnetic detector, which is mounted in the doorway going into the MRI scanner room. She didn't recall that she heard it go off. Now, the nurse was badly injured by this. The ICU patient who was on the bed at the time, fortunately, just kind of got bucked off without any real injuries. While the nurse was trapped, pinned between the bed and the MRI scanner, which from this picture looks really freaking scary. While she was trapped, there is what's called a quench button. It's an emergency off button that actually turns off the magnetism for the MRI, which is otherwise on 24/7. For reasons that are not yet clear, the MRI tech did not hit the quench button, but instead sought the approval from somebody else to actually do that. And so the nurse was pinned between the bed and the MRI scanner with an active magnetic field, and was actually only gotten out, as I understand it, when the nurse was pulled essentially sort of sideways, torn from between the bed and the MRI scanner. There will be much, much more as I dig into the 85-page state report. Watch this channel for more.